thank you so much for agreeing to be on Story Hour. I'm looking forward to listening to your story. And so are a lot of people in my family, including my mother, who's watching from the other room. She's a big fan of yours. She has been for the last 12 years a very, very proud dignitarian. And I want to personally thank you for starting something like this, a foundation that gives their dignity back to seniors, to our elders, to our mothers and fathers and neighbors, and give them a life of self-respect, fulfillment, and joy. So right away, one of the first questions that I want to ask you today is, what are your top tips to seniors for living a life that is, to age well, to stay healthy, stay happy, and just be fulfilled?
Yeah. So, thank you, Sudha, for this super opportunity. I feel like as though I am Shabana Azmi or big person being interviewed by such a notable author like you. Yeah. So, Sudha, I want to tell you one thing that, you know, uh, what works for me is what I want to share with you. Normally, I'm in a position who believes that we cannot prescribe for another life, so to say, because each life is very, very individualistic. Each one of us is a unique human being.
Yes, of course.
So, what works for me, the same will not work for another person. Shilu Srinivasan living in Timbuktu, for example, could be this, family background, everything could be identical, but it might not work. So I'll be very happy to share with you and others who are there, your audience, what has really worked for me. And that is something, and I also belong to the category of senior citizens, and therefore it will be interesting for other people to compare. Okay, this is working for Shilu, maybe it will work for me also. That sort of a situation is what I thought, I must tell you. I'm in no position to advise anybody whatsoever.
No, I just, as somebody who has worked with the elderly for so many years, and also because I know that you are interested in this entire universe of aging and gerontology and all of that. So, what are the things that really help as we age? What are the things that really help you stay healthy, fulfilled, joyous, and just age well? That it's not. I'm not asking you to prescribe, but what is your understanding of this over the years of your working with seniors?
Sure, sure. I think the foremost factor is one's own self-esteem. How you consider yourself. Are you in love with yourself? Do you like who you are as a person? I think from that flows a lot of happiness. You will be a happy person for another person who perceives you, who talks to you. And so that is one of the factors. Whatever you are doing, and after 50, 60, 70, what matters is your own idea of who you are as a person. And if you are a happy person, that's what others are going to perceive you as. And what are the factors that go into building up this self-esteem? I think the topmost is for either a working person or a non-working person, the topmost is relationships. The relationship at home, your husband, your children, whoever living with you, the domestic helps, without whom a middle class woman can never achieve anything, I would say.
Yes.
And especially during this COVID,
Yes.
isolation, many of us have realized what a great role that our domestic helps play in our lives. So,
100%.
so what is our relationship with them? And starting with your own home, and for a dog lover like me, what is my relationship with my sweet two dogs who live with me? You know, so I would therefore say that relationship matters a whole deal, and the healthy family relationships definitely is taken outside. For example, in Dignity Foundation and where I work, where I go to work, the quality of relationships is what defines a lot of how fulfilling we are to ourselves, how we consider a task that we are doing as successful. So that is point number 2.
Yes.
Point number 3 is really again comes back to uh, one's own notion of what is the purpose of your life. So today, so I am one of those fortunate people who found a purpose when I was 22 years old, when I took a decision that I will qualify myself in social work. And the 2 years of training I took in the Chennai Kilpark Mental Hospital, I loved the work so much, and I decided, okay, this is what I want to do. I want my life to be of use to other people. And after I graduated, I came over to Bombay, started living over here, and after nearly 25 years, 25 years, another very big purpose really came in, and it came and met me. The
That is
purpose came and met
dignity.
me. Yeah. So a very traumatic experience of finding in the Frankfurt airport a lady 80 years old, totally abandoned. The duty officer had called me to say, please come and help us. You look like an Indian. So talk to her and please tell us what she is doing. Where is she? With whom did she come? And finally, it so happened that she has been abandoned in the toilet of the Frankfurt airport. I was doing a transit journey from New York, Frankfurt to Bombay.
So
And
her family had abandoned her.
yeah, and they were simply not able to trace out.
Trace them.
And where is the family? And poor thing, she was so traumatized, must be about 88 years old, so traumatized, fragile lady sitting in a wheelchair. And the moment she saw me, I was wearing a sari, she caught hold of my hand. There is some type of a comfort that she felt, I think. And to cut this long story short, so the duty manager said, ma'am, we have tried our best. We are not able to trace how she came, what she came, because there is no passport, there is no visa, there is a handbag, but there is nothing inside.
Oh my God. So it
So,
was very deliberate. Whatever was done was very deliberate.
yeah, very
So that brought you face to face with something that became your purpose then.
Yeah. So I was also very traumatized. Took the lady in the German airport car and all that. Drove 45 minutes with her and admitted her in a shelter home. And the moment she saw the bed, she went and really plumped on the bed, and then slowly she let my hand go.
Oh
And
my God.
I came back, and the return journey from Frankfurt to Bombay is when I decided I have to devote the rest of my life in the service of the elderly.
Wonderful. And that is such an amazing thing. And you're right. Your purpose actually met you.
Yeah,
And that's what they say, isn't it? That many times you don't have to really overanalyze or do all of that. You just what you're meant to be happens to you. It comes to you. You find your calling. So that is your calling. That's wonderful. I just wanted to ask you. So part of what then my question part of it would be, of course, that then you said that finding purpose is doing things for people. Hmm? So then uh, I'm not sure what is the strength of dignity, dignitarians. What is the membership like now? How many dignitarians do you serve?
So yeah, so there are about 50,000 at any point in time. Some are active, many are inactive, and so yeah. But that is the reach out,
Yes.
and the magazine reaches out, and then our memberships like this online. Every day I'm meeting members, and it has been a super joy. This so even in adversity, for example, you are talking about purpose.
Yes.
So even in this adversity of 4 months sitting at home, uh, I thought what I need to do is really convert this into a super opportunity and bring about. And I realized in the fourth day of the lockdown that there is something called Zoom.
Yes.
And in 4 5 days time we worked out how to bring people to Zoom, and then we started working, and then today daily sessions are going on in 30 centers all India, where
So
every day.
can we have a bit of like this is something that I wanted to ask you, that you know most of us have been COVIDized and we are all sitting at home. I've been watching my mother for the last 1.5 months, 1 month, and every evening from 4 to 5:30, she has her social life. She is on Zoom and she is singing, she is taking Tai Chi lessons, she is doing, and all of this through Dignity Foundation's Zoom sessions. So I want you to tell me about the extent, the reach of technology for dignity. How have you used technology for,
Yeah.
bringing positivity to the lives of elders?
Yeah. So, one of the things, you were telling me, Shilu, what if you were to ask me what is one thing a senior citizen should do now?
Yes.
I would say embrace and marry technology.
Fantastic.
Forget your marriage at home. Go and marry your technology.
Technology.
You know,
Yes.
and
Yes.
in every time we have an event and all that, I have been upgrading their use of technology. So Zoom, the lessons were given to all our members how to be Zoom friendly.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know that many people have their smartphones. For,
Mhm.
for people who don't have smartphones, we came up with an EMI type of a thing. We will buy the smartphone and give it to you, and you can pay us every month EMI like without any interest.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So I'm one person who has been greatly influenced positively by technology. I'm quite tech savvy, sort of can be around, do a lot of things in the computer, but I also believe in it. I'm a big fan or an admirer of this Harari, Yuval Noah Harari.
Mhm, mhm,
He is an Israeli intellectual,
Yes.
and he has brought about a lot of books like Homo sapiens
Yes,
and
of course.
Homo Deus and the 21st century innovations. What is today going to be life and what is going to be tomorrow? So I've been reading all that, more and more getting convinced that one thing the senior citizens need to embrace is technology. So we had an event 2 days back. Everybody learned to download a soundtrack and sing along with the soundtrack.
This was your monsoon melodies. Yes.
Yeah, monsoon melody. You know, so
I want to tell you that
soon are already happening. For example, all your medical records,
Mhm.
very soon you don't have to be going to meet your doctor.
Yes.
You are going to be, the doctor is going to send you a certain app. You download that app in your smartphone and you read your blood pressure,
Telemedicine.
pulse, all your telemedicine, all your parameters of health, everything is going to be in the smartphone, and the doctor is going to say, okay, send me all the readings. Then through a Zoom also or any other method. So this is going to be the future of
It's already happening because of COVID. A lot of people
Yeah.
are not able to go to
Yeah.
doctors, and I believe it's already a reality.
Yeah, absolutely. And therefore, if health itself is going to be sort of uploaded on a technological platform, and for health and for senior citizen, health is number one priority.
Absolutely.
And
And
then-
concern.
and concern.
Concern.
Yeah, and you can do a lot. But today, for example, you will know that if you are 5 meters away from a COVID infected person, if you have the what seva? Yeah, the
Arogya Seva.
Arogya Seva. Arogya Seva. Yeah.
Arogya Setu.
Arogya Setu. Yeah.
Yes.
So like that, more and more and more technology is going to invade the lives of senior citizens.
So a related question here is, I remember that once Dignity used to have a service where volunteers actually came and trained seniors at home. If there was a senior at home who was not, so does that still exist? Is that a working?
Yeah, only now, not during this 4 month, 5 month period. Yes, but very much so. And even used to have computer teachers.
Yes,
You have computer at home. Somebody from Dignity Foundation will come and teach you. Of course, he has his own fee structure.
Yes.
And he will take that money. But yes, we used to be sending. We used to have run classes over here. Have convocation of.
For tech literate seniors.
Yeah, for becoming literate in technology. So before our members get very bored with technology, we should depart from the technology world. But with this one last word on technology, there is no option for a senior citizen to become tech savvy.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially using your credit card, your debit card. That is the next one I'm coming up with. I'm planning an event around using of card and all that, how you should put a very minimum amount in a card, but use that card in your, but not in a bank account where you have 40-50 lakhs and use that card. No need at all. So no accident also can take place that way.
Yes.
You
Just
know?
whatever is required for your daily life.
Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic thing, because I see a lot of this as well. Now, during this pandemic situation, my husband and I have been helping a lot of seniors with, taking out money from their bank. And
Yeah.
for us, it would seem like, oh my God, this is because their children are not around and they trust you enough to, they ask you to do. And that is when I really realized that this is such a big gap, in their ability.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So fantastic. So you told me a couple of things about how seniors can be healthy and age well and be happy. The related question is, what in your opinion are the things that they should actually avoid to go down that, there is this kind of situation where the seniors find themselves depressed and lonely and just in a blue funk, if that is a word to use.
Yeah.
So what are the things that they should avoid? There are behavioral patterns, there are things that we do, there are habits that all of us have that cause us to be unhappy, lonely, solitary, many of those things. So
Yeah.
what is it that they should avoid?
All right. So again, a lot of circumstances are thrust on you.
Yes.
You end up living all alone, or you end up living as husband and wife but no one else around. Even if you have children, the relationship is sort of frayed with children. They are all abroad. So there is a sense of thing,
Loss.
okay, they are having a very grand time. I'm here out alone, struggling with life. Struggling or not, there is some bit of hurt over there. Oh, they have gone away.
Yeah.
You know?
Abandoned us. That
Yeah.
feeling of abandonment.
Bad.
Abandonment.
So again, there is this, thing called ego integrity. It's a very beautiful concept, Sudha.
Tell us more. Yes.
Yeah, this is founded by a psychologist called Erik Erikson. So he came about with the theory that the emotional well-being of a senior citizen is of utmost importance.
Yes.
And what is emotional well-being? It is achieving a state of ego integrity whereby you come to accept with grace whatever situation that you are in life. Not all the time be, okay, 42 years ago when I came, my mother-in-law purposely from that room said this. After 42 years, if you are remembering your mother-in-law said this, said that, or,
Yes.
Nurturing this sort of a feeling
Resentment. Holding grudges. Holding
holding
grudges.
grudges,
Yes.
leave all that. Look after yourself now.
Yes.
Forget all those baggages, emotional baggages. Oh, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, they ill-treated me so much. My husband and me, we never got along for 30. Arey, enough of all that. You have now a life. Take control of yourself and stop controlling the world.
Yes. I think that is the number one thing for
Yeah.
all of us. Yes.
Don't control your children. For example, many of us don't like how our children are dressing. Many of us don't like how the lifestyle
Yes.
that is followed by the children. Never mind, let it go. Fine, you take a look at it. This is how children are leading a life. All right, be a little separate, little far away. Just see it. You can't do anything. If you
Yes.
go and do anything, you are going to spoil your relationship. Again, relationship is number one agenda in your life. You have to keep relationship absolutely balanced and healthy. So this Erik Erikson says in ego integrity, it is so very important how you come to view today's context and do something that is going to be very pleasing for you. And I believe 98% of the people have a very inner core of goodness in
Of
them.
course. Yes.
Everybody, 98% I would say, there is an inner core of goodness. Realize that. And I am now an addict to turning inwards to try and understand who I am. So, Sudha, in a very big way, I spend now about 5 hours a day watching these videos of understanding the universe, the cosmology, the multiverses that they are. Who am I? What is the soul? Soul and me. Why am I here? What was my previous incarnations? I tell you, technology can bring a lot of knowledge for you if you only were to seek.
Yes.
So you can forget yourself, get immersed in something that you will enjoy doing. So I enjoy getting to know of who I am, what I am, why am I here for, and very strangely, I'm dying to see after my death what I'm going to be doing.
So basically connecting with yourself.
Yeah, connecting with yourself. And it's so very beautiful because the more you seek, the more you understand, okay, it is the consciousness that we need to be having a grip over. Today, the entire world in the planet, we are all in what is called as a third density consciousness. We have to be more aware, more meditation, more thinking, and get into another density called the fourth density, where all our emotions, feelings, thinking, seeking, everything gets on to into another type of a meaning.
So what I'm getting from this conversation is that you are a lifelong student, and that you are a great seeker of knowledge. And I think that also reflects partly in a lot in the way Dignity Foundation conducts its activities. So I can see from what my mother is going through every day that you have put dignitarians also on the path of learning new things.
Yeah.
So, if you want to talk about that a bit, like quickly, if we can say, what are the things that they're actually learning with you? And yeah, whatever details that you want to give. This is so that
New
there are a lot of people
subjects.
watching this on Facebook also. And so, in case they want to know about dignity, so quickly, if
Yeah.
we can just.
Yeah. So, Sudha, every day a new learning is what is being given to all the members. Of course, there is a membership fee of 2,000 rupees per year. Translated
Can't even eat a restaurant meal in that much.
yeah, absolutely. And that much is required for us to put many things on ground. Plus,
Of course.
Dignity Foundation's own funds are all utilized for that. But to answer your question, yes, exposure to a new learning every day, and the togetherness that comes out of bonding. Okay, now 99 people are here, 100 people today are watching
Yes.
your program, Sudha. And
Fantastic. I think
so learning new things and keeping, and the teacher has got to be very interesting.
yes.
So I am now currently studying the program analysis, the quality content of the program, how we can enhance it so that our members can enjoy more, can learn more and more. It's not the same thing about diabetes. You have to exercise, you have to eat, don't eat sugar, you have to, it's not the same thing again and
That the
again.
children are saying anyway every day.
That's true. That's true. So it's not the same thing, but getting to know of newer things. Even in diabetes, there are so many new things that have come up. There is this
Yes.
Dr. Luke. He keeps saying that one single thing that you need to do is to keep your gut, that is your stomach,
Yes.
keep your gut absolutely clean.
Yes.
Very simple. Warm water and lime. Drink 5 times a day. Nothing will happen to you ever.
That's a good tip for me also.
Therefore, one thing is to learn to enjoy everything. Learn to enjoy this beautiful planet that we are sitting on. The enjoyment of every day starts from that minute. You realize
Absolutely.
you take it for granted. Everything you take it for granted. I am 73 years old, I take it for granted. Arey Baba, no. There is, understand who you are, why you are. No, nothing should be taken for granted. Really. I found myself talking in some other forum about this water. Water is such a common element in the whole world. And there was a Japanese scientist called Masako, and he believed and demonstrated that, say, take 3 bowls of water. To 1 bowl of water, he will say, thank you so much. I'm going to consume you and I'm very thankful to what your impact going to be. To the second one, he says, oh my God, what a filthy element that you are. And the third one, he simply ignores. He doesn't even look at that water. After 5 days, the water of the first bowl is examined under the microscope, and waters are given beautiful crystals, like the snowflake crystals. Such beautiful shapes and all come over there. The second one has turned black. Water.
Yes.
Water has turned black,
Black.
because you shouted at the water. And the third one absolutely dried up. All three are sitting at the same temperature and identical conditions. Therefore, what is the lesson in this?
Appreciation.
If you are kind and compassionate, I believe even when you are eating a vegetable, if you tell the vegetable, I am cutting you, but you are helping me to survive as a human being, I believe the plant will feel much less hurt that you are cutting and eating her.
So, because you said this, I read about various subjects, diverse subjects, and one of the things that I always come across these days is about the power of gratitude. Say being grateful for who you are, for your presence on this earth, for having all these people who love you. So the water thing is also that I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing for my body, and so. On a very when I was a child, I lived in a small cottage where my father used to grow all kinds of plants and roses, and every day for an hour he would spend that time in the garden talking to his plants. And we were kids, and we would always wonder, why is he talking to plants? And he would say, like you, they also have a life and they also like to be loved. And then he would go away for his tour for 2 or 3 days, and the plants would actually wilt, the roses would droop, and when he came back they would all be in full bloom.
Yeah.
So what you're saying makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Appreciating something and being grateful for what it brings into your life is, I think.
Yeah. So even a glass of water that you drink, just give 1 minute thought to the water, how much energy you're going to give me, and it really happens. These
Yes.
are scientific facts that are there. People who are interested can connect with me, and I will give them all the coordinates where you can get all
Find
such
all this.
facts. How does one live from day to day to day? One has to find answers for many things that you seek. You have to keep on. Somebody said you are a lifelong student. Yes, one has got to be a lifelong student, because there is so much to learn. Actually, that's why I'm very keen what I'm going to be in my next birth, and very soon I want to do that. The only thing is dignity.
We need you in this universe, so don't let us think about the next universe. You spoke almost the first thing that you spoke today, about life with seniors is the importance of relationships. Shilu, what is it that families can do? A lot of us struggle with this. What is it that families can do to help the seniors who live with them? Mother, father, aunt, great grandfather. There's so much, I find that a lot of families, including me sometimes, I struggle with how do I make my mother happy? What can I do for her? Sometimes we struggle with guilt. All of us, who have elderly people at home, how do we make their life and how do we enrich their lives? How do we give them more meaning? So what is it? How can we build upon those relationships?
So the same formula that applies for a senior citizen parent applies for the daughter, the sons also. Give them the space that they want. No need to say, Mama, no need for you to go to this wedding so far away in Mulund. No need to go. simply, I mean, why don't you wish them? Why don't you take a phone and say hi and hello and all that? No, your mother wants to go. Please let her go. Children are normally overprotective, over concerned. No need at all. If she wants to have uh, laddus every day, if that's what she wants to do, please don't say don't have, don't have, don't have. You've got sugar, you've got BP. Arey Baba, finished now. 70, 75, 80 years we have lived. And let us live, to how we want to live. And that is one thing. Children also have to learn to let the parents go. And let them do what they want to do. Don't thrust things on them. But in this, Sudha, one thing I will also say, what a senior, for a senior citizen to be feeling very agonized will be when, as a senior citizen, you become irrelevant to the family. You don't understand what's going on. You don't know, okay, you're not tech savvy because the rest of them are all in their mobile and they are chatting in the same room, the entire family is chatting and all that, but you are divorced. So if you are not integrated into your children's life, or take active steps to integrate yourself into a children's life. Okay, really, what happened? The moment she comes back from her work, don't start saying, oh my, you know what happened today? Arey, jane do, understand what your daughter has gone through in the whole day. And get interested. Oh, is it? You had a new client today. What happened? Where did she come from? So, it also, therefore, the senior citizen has to make himself, herself relevant.
And interested.
Interested. If you will become irrelevant in today's world, if you are a techno dummy.
Yes.
If you are a technology dummy, that's all. Everybody, even your 2-year-old grandchild, will ignore you. You,
Yes.
Amma, you don't know anything really. Amma, keep quiet. You don't understand all this. That is what happens. So therefore, as much as you are going to give space to your father and mother, and to let them do what they want to do, and support them. If she was, like you have said, she is full of, from morning till evening, she wants to watch TV. Okay, not your mother, but somebody else.
Yeah.
Let them know that is what they want to do. After 70, you don't have to be controlling their life as a youngster. Just as the elder should not be controlling the younger people's life. We have so much ourselves to take care of and learn and be very happy. There are 1,000 ways to make yourself happy.
Do you think that as a society we need to invest more efforts into building secure futures for the elderly?
Absolutely. What the government can do, 100 dignity foundations cannot do. 1,000 dignity foundations cannot do. The government is that sort of a body. So heavy advocacy work is going on to telling the government. For example, Sudha, what is today agonizing me is the elder abuse. We get, all India, per day I get about 9 to 10 calls from elderly who are saying, my son is asking me to sign on a blank paper, or he is beating me up to give him money every day. He doesn't earn, so every day he wants money from me. So elder abuse, there is no law in the country to catch hold of that son and put him behind bar for 3 months or 6 months.
That is shocking, isn't it? Considering we have what, 104 million seniors over the ages of over the age of 60 in India today.
Absolutely. And so there are acts and acts. People will say, oh, there is this act, don't you know? There is this IPC section, don't you know? Very difficult to get anything out of the police. The police are ruling this every state.
Oh my God.
We are seeing the play of the police in the Sushant's case.
Yes.
Such a massive drama is being enacted in the whole country. Everybody is keeping quiet. So therefore, coming back to the elderly, your question, should we not be doing something to keep them secure? Very much so.
So elder abuse, and what are the other concerns here that?
Yeah. So we are one of the very few countries in the world who do not have a social security for every senior citizen. Forget even middle class senior citizens like all of us. But there are 70 million poor people who are surviving on 3,000 rupees a month. For them, the social security is an absolute must.
Absolutely.
But we are hardly, even an old age pension is about giving 200 rupees by the central government, 200 by the state government, 400 rupees goes to a elderly.
I was reading the other day that of this 104 million and retiring, and we suddenly have this thing that at 60 you have to retire. How do we leverage the combined expertise and the knowledge of 104 million seniors in this country? What is your comment on that? Are we wasting this talent?
Forget 52. At 73, I don't want to retire. So
Yes.
many of us, all the members of Dignity Foundation, taking part in a public platform for singing, dancing. Nobody wants to retire. The word retirement really sends a chill down your spine.
Yes.
Really speaking. Because nobody wants to be left out of the economic mainstream. We want to be relevant in anything and everything that is happening around. You know, if we are made to sit in a corner, which many people do.
Yes.
Amma, you sit over here, I will do everything. Arey, that's something that I don't want. I also want to do what you want to do. This
Yes.
is what you know. But no, Amma, you sit over there in a chair and we will do everything for you. It is a totally wrong strategy. Nobody wants to enjoy that chair.
Yes.
We want
That is
to-
the one chair nobody wants.
That is right. That is the retirement chair, you know.
Yes, yes. So as groups of people working with the elderly, are there any advocacy things happening where you can actually talk to corporates or talk to government bodies saying that, look, we are so many and we don't want to retire and disappear, hide, go under the carpet and pretend that we don't exist. How can we leverage this knowledge and experience that we have?
So sorry, Sudha. The government has got so many other priorities, and senior citizens are the underdogs of all causes in India. We are all the time trying to knock on the door. We don't get meetings, we don't get appointments. The national policy is not happening. It happened just about 2 months ago. It happened, national policy, after a gap of 18 years. National policy was declared. But now that policy, to implement that policy, so many things have to be done. Nothing.
And now, of course, we all have the excuse of
COVID.
COVID lockdown.
Yeah.
So that will take some. What we can all do now. I'm also considering myself 50, 50 plus, so senior. So what we can all do is, when election time comes, our votes are a lot of votes, isn't it? 104 million votes. At least this is a census from like 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
So it is from, yes. So I think one of the ways that we can, use our collective strength is by saying, look, this is what we have, 104 million votes, and this is what you can do for us.
Yeah, so
And this is,
in one of the platforms where Dr. Manmohan Singh was there, Milind Devra and all were there, I got up and said, which of the MLAs sitting over here have in their manifesto mention of the elderly? Not a single. Nobody
it's shocking.
even yeah, nobody has, including the agenda of the elderly, what we needs to be doing for the elderly. Not, it is not there in the manifesto of all the MLAs who were present over there in the stage. There were 29 of them sitting.
My God.
Not a single. So
That is shocking.
therefore, I'm sorry to say, yes, but we have to be doing advocacy work and telling the government, Baba, actually, Sudha, we are 110 million. That is the inside story. You know,
Yes.
104 was few years ago.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
We are now 110 million. So, trying our best through CII, to FICCI, through all of them. So, very soon they have said that no, we are going to be having a meeting. Let's see. We can only try.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, otherwise our dignitarians are there. Be happy with them. The cosmology, the world is there. I'll be very happy with the world.
I have one more question which
Yeah.
struck home to me. What kind of support can we create for children who are primary caregivers for the elderly parents, especially those suffering from age-related conditions such as Alzheimer's, dementia? I see a lot of this around me. So,
Yeah.
is there, from your work in this, what is it that can be done?
You know, support groups is some institutionalized effort on the part of communities to have a group of all the caregivers and talk to them and share the problems. Oh, my mother also did this, and somebody else will say, yeah, this is exactly the same problem as my uncle. But we tried, in our experience, for the support group meetings, people don't turn up. So they are busy with their own lives. Okay, as long as my dementia father is taken care by Dignity, that's fine. In the morning they are coming and picking us up. In Chennai, we run a sprawling dementia daycare center.
It's in Chennai. Okay.
Yeah, in Chennai, and lovely work is being done by them. In fact, Mrs. Sundara Gopalan, the chief dignitarian, is very much here in the audience, and
Lovely.
she is doing, along with the team, excellent work taking care. And where during the COVID time, Sudha, we were talking to the relatives to say what you have to do with the dementia patient at home, because at 8:30, 9 o'clock he will start getting dressed up, because the dementia van is going to come. The Dignity
and
van
they're
will
used to
come.
that.
They're used to that. So how you should deal with him? He is restless. So divert his attention. Do this, for example. Oh, if it is Kannan, okay, Kannan sir likes this music very much, so you please do. So like that, even unbelievable type of connect the people, the caregivers. We have about nearly 17-18 staff, all of them put together, to take care of these 40-45 dementia people. So but yes, that sort of care can be given, but it is a two-way process. Like how much interested you are.
Yes.
What can I do? What can I do? So many times you have asked me now, what can I do for my mother? What is the advice? So, but you are one of the exceptions. What we find is they are very happy. Mother is there in Neral. Fine, they are taking care. They are a very professional body. They are taking care of my mother. That's all.
I don't have to go and see her.
Yeah. because I have my career, I have my children. So, uh, the different types of responses and reactions are there. But the elderly, the final note to the elderly is that you have to stay relevant. Do anything and everything which the younger people are not going to laugh at you. To get their respect, how you have to be very dignified, talk less, don't start talking about your health all the time.
This is a reminder to me.
Then also, okay, oh my God, in my time I used to be paying for banana for
25 paise.
35 paise, and today you bought it for 20 rupees. Arey Baba, doesn't matter. Don't need to express all that, because it is only going to create a gap between the younger and the older generation. So there is plenty that we ourselves can do, Sudha, to keep ourselves very relevant in the whole community. Okay, when Mrs. Somebody talks, everybody should listen. It's not that, oh my God, that old lady has started talking again. No. So that sort of a self-respect, self-esteem is very much possible, and it is very good to acquire all those things rather than controlling other people and grumbling about. Develop this ego integrity, accept your status as it is now with lot of grace. And even during COVID, we can get together like this is a marvel of nothing other than technology.
Shilu, thank you so very much. I think that was a brilliant closing note. How we ourselves can help ourselves to live the life that we want. Age gracefully. Aging well is not actually just a term. The way you have explained it today, it's actually eminently doable. And I'm glad so many dignitarians listened to this today, and I hope all of them have taken note. I know that they're all very enriched, empowered people, and I'm sure a lot of people watched it on Facebook and took notes. Thank you so much, Shilu, for sharing all of this with me. I will make sure that this message is carried into the elder community, in the society, in the community that I live in, and spread the word. Thanks a lot, and stay blessed, and all the best for your future journey of learning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a good evening, all of you.